What's up, guys? So I asked in the previous video what kind of videos you guys would like to see, and it was suggested by Matt Madigan that I do a voiceover of one of my races, and I had the footage, might as well do it. And it was an excellent suggestion. Thank you, Matt, for that suggestion, and I am happy to do this because it gives you an insight on what I might be thinking, why I made some of the choices I made, and what may be going on in the race as a whole. And I guess what you can expect if you were going to start racing yourself. Alright, so I don't do a lot of voiceovers, so I ask you guys to bear with me if I don't pronounce words clearly or whatever. Just kind of, for now, deal with it. I should be getting better the more I do of these. Alright, so I'm headed out now for the GTU race at Daytona. This happened on March 18th, 2017. Last time we were there at Daytona with CCS and Azra. And as you can see, that just popped up on the screen, I have telemetry. And this telemetry was kind of provided through my GPS lap timer that I have on my bike. It is the Moto D Start Next GPS lap timer. I highly recommend it for simplicity. Basically, it has all the maps on the major tracks that we would go to already loaded on there. So you just have to turn it on, and it automatically locks on your location, and based on your proximity to a nearby track, it will put you there. And it's actually pretty good and pretty accurate. So I like it for simplicity. I'll link it down below for those of you that are interested. It doesn't have some of the more special features like setting sector times or sectors so that you could time your sectors, or being able to calculate your theoretical best lap time. But for a GPS lap timer in general, I think it's a pretty good value. It is cheaper than some of the alternatives out there with more features. So this basically has everything that I need. I just need basic lap times, and having the GPS readouts for speed and the track is a big bonus. Alright, so for telemetry, to the top left you have the track map, and I am indicated with that red dot. Now, as you can see, the configuration that we're running is the longer configuration, infield configuration for Daytona, and I think it's the same one that they use for the Rolex 24. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but there is a shorter configuration that I don't know who runs that anymore. Either way, with this configuration, we get the International Horseshoe, the dog leg, the other horseshoe, barrel turn, and you also got the bus stop, as well as pretty much having the entire NASCAR oval. And then to my upper right, you have my lap timers. The top one in the yellow is my current lap time, and then the one in the green is my best lap of the race, or rather of the session that I'm running. To the bottom right, you have my lap list. That's gonna basically just show you each of my laps that I've completed. Now in the bottom center is my speedometer. That is the true GPS speed and not the one that comes from the bike, because we know that the one that comes from the bike is never really accurate. And to the left are two bars. The top one is top speed, and that is my absolute top speed, the top speed that I have achieved so far overall. And then right below that is the base speed. What's showing base speed, but it's actually base/peak, and that will show me when my acceleration changes direction. So peak is going to be when I stop accelerating and start decelerating, and then base is going to be when I stop decelerating and start accelerating. And that's going to show me what my minimum and maximum speeds through each sector, through each turn is. That could be pretty useful if I'm trying to compare myself to some of the faster guys. What are their minimum speeds through that turn or through that corner? What is their maximum speed in that sector right before they start braking? And as long as we're on comparable bikes, that gives me a better idea of where I can improve my speed. Okay, so now we're out on our warm-up lap. Warm-up lap is a good time to kind of get your head in the game, try to feel for the bike, and put some heat into the tires. Whoa, dude. Warm-up lap, come on. No need to squeeze me like that. Alright, and in the warm-up lap, you kind of want to go somewhat hard. If you had to kind of put a percentage to it, I would say maybe 70 to 80% of your best speed. I know it sounds kind of much, kind of fast, but part of the warm-up idea is to get some heat into the tires. And if you're going too slow, you're not going to get any of the heat into those tires. And you want to warm yourself up as well, because especially if you've been sitting for a while between races, there's a mental component to it that kind of needs warming up as well. Now, you're not going to race anybody with a warm-up lap. That's a bad idea. Just get to the starting grid in a timely manner so that your bike is set. Also get your mind into it. Get your mind into race mode so that you're set as well, and that's part of it. Alright, so I'm not going to bore you with the rest of this warm-up lap. Let's go ahead and fast forward to starting grid. Alright, and we're rolling up on the grid. One thing that you always want to do if you're racing is to always get your starting grid, write it on a piece of tape, and tape it to your tank. That way you know exactly where to go, because especially in Florida, especially when it gets hot, no one wants to be sitting on the grid for a while you try to figure out your grid position. It is really annoying, and it is just unfair to the rest. It's inconsiderate to the rest of the grid. So where I'm gridded at right now is kind of towards the back. As you can see, there's probably maybe 6 or 7 rows ahead of me, and not only am I gridded towards the back, which makes it more difficult for me on the start, had to fight through more people, I'm also gridded towards the inside of the first turn, which is a left turn. And I don't like this because if I don't get to the outside of that turn, it makes it really easy for me to get boxed in. And when I get boxed in, I have nowhere to go. I have a bike in front of me, I have a bike next to me, and I have the edge of the track on the other side. So I have really nowhere else to go. So I'm not sure if in this case it is the same as when we're here in October where they grid you based on points. Maybe that's the case, but here we are getting ready to start. I'm finding, you can't see right now, but I'm finding where my engagement point is, and I'm revving up to about 10,000 RPM, and here we go. Not an excellent start. Not an excellent start at all. Seeing this big Apple bikes, a lot of people I don't know how they're gonna ride, so I'm taking it kind of easy, being a little more conservative on my approach. In hindsight, looking at this footage now, I see a lot of holes where I could have taken it, but the GoPro's angle makes it a little less. Whoa, okay. Nice here position. Got pushed on the outside there. Makes it difficult. Does anybody else come down under me? No? Good, okay. So I'm trying to make up some places now. There's too many bikes ahead of me. I can't see. Whoa, that was a shifty pass in my opinion. There's just too many bikes around me that, makes it tough to find a line to pass through, a good line to pass through. And I kind of run wide there because I think that my brakes were a little, my brake pads were kind of pushed apart. Alright, made it past that one guy going into this turn. This is the barrel turn right here onto the banking. And I like the banking here at Daytona. I'm a lightweight kind of guy. I weigh about 150 pounds. And my bike is tuned very well for running pump gas. My bike's actually faster than a lot of bikes that are running MR12, or some other comparable race gas. And here I am into the bus stop, over the rumble strips, and over these rumble strips on the out. Pretty good drive on the out, getting by that one guy. So now I have a pretty big gap to kind of make up to the next group, but I think I do. So just going as fast as I can, tucked all the way in, throttle all the way open. $162, 63. Alright, braking down from 163 all the way down to, how slow did we get? 49 miles an hour. 49 miles an hour for turn 1. Right, left. That's turn 2, the right and left. And here's turn 3, International Horseshoe. Going down into it. Not too bad, a little wide on the exit. Into the dog leg, making up some speed on this guy, but I am not comfortable passing on the inside of 5 yet. because I'm not really sure how he's riding. I just came up to him. Alright. Not too confident passing on the inside of 6 here. But let's see if we can get him on this banking. So I run up on him pretty good. Wow, he is pulling away from me. That is a bike that's better built, and I'm sort of in the draft. I'm a little off, but you know, like I'm still getting pulled in a little bit, but he's still pulling away. That's a powerful bike. 164 in the draft. Normally I'm about 161, 162 there, so an extra couple miles an hour. All right, and again he's pulling away. Shoot. Oh, what is this? I seem to be gaining on him a little bit. I think it's because he rolled off a little bit, going too low on the skirt. I should actually be more right behind him, but I'm not. Top speed 167. Wow. Alright, make it past him through turn 1 or through the start finish. I'm actually pretty good on the brakes over here. Past 2 guys, second guy there. Right up on the third. So I did catch up with that group in front of me. Pretty awesome. Right, left. Alright, to the right on turn International Horseshoe right here. Time to go, time to go. Didn't get a great drive out of there, a little bit of head shake. Alright, and I let off a little bit here to give a little more room. I don't feel quite comfortable running up on these guys, don't know who they are, don't know how they ride too well. And they are a little early on the brakes. This is turn 5. Good, okay drive, but again, leaving some room because I didn't think I could make the pass safely. And onto the banking. He took a quite shallow line coming out of there, which I think hurt his drive because it put him right up on the wall. So get down there underneath him. So one thing I want to mention as I'm on this banking right here, it says I'm on lap 2, I'm actually on lap 3. The reason is because it didn't record my first lap since I didn't start from the start finish line. I started from the pits, or we all start from the pits. So, and we all have to start from the pits because, you know, like with the banking as steep as it is, it doesn't make sense for us to kind of start from the actual track at the start finish line. So we start from the pits, which is nice and flat, and then we go. And here I am on NASCAR 3 and 4, trying to catch up with the next group, and I do actually make some headway. .164, red flag, red flag. Alright, so there is a condition on the track that makes it unsafe, and that's why they do the red flag. And I will fast forward to that red flag condition in just a sec. Alright, and we are coming up on the reason why the track is unsafe, and that's because somebody, and by somebody I mean Adrian Mitchell, who's a friend of mine, ran up and hit the wall over there, hit the air fence. So he's okay, he's actually perfectly fine. He was racing the next day after getting his bike back together, but he actually has, I think on his Facebook profile or YouTube, what happened. I think there was he lost the rear, it kind of did a little tank slapper, and he just went straight into the air fence. So like I said, he's okay. Like I said, he ran the next day in races and actually did pretty well for his classes. So while we're rolling back into the pits, there are a couple of factors that are working against me this weekend. I mean, other than the fact that I'm being like a wuss overall in passing and everything. Like I said, I didn't feel comfortable with the people that I was racing against. I didn't know who they were. Some of them were inconsistent, some of them were more consistent, but I just didn't know. I needed more time to set things up. That was something that I need to learn to get over and kind of just be more aggressive and just take opportunities when I see them. The other thing is the tire choice. Now, the Michelin tire guy got me off of what I usually run, which is a 190/55, he said I needed to run a 255 here, and that's exactly what I put on my tire. And that kind of gave me some setup issues to begin with. It raised my rear about 5 millimeters or so I had to change the rear ride height to compensate for that because it was unrideable otherwise. So the suspension setting, the ride height setting change helped with the rideability of the bike, but with the larger radius of the rear wheel now, without making the appropriate sprocket change to compensate for it, I think it kind of killed my top end just a little bit at the top, maybe by a couple miles an hour. So 167 was my best, 172 was like my best previously. Alright, so we're going to be grading up in our original grid spots, and it's going to be a 3-lap dash to the finish. Alright, I will see you guys at the start of the restart. Alright, and we are back. Just finished another warm-up lap. I think we were down for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. So having the warm-up lap was really helpful to get some heat back into the tires. And then we were about to get started. Now, you don't know, you can see there was a guy, his bike stalled or something like that. And then he moved up on the grid, which was not right. And they were like, screw it, let's just go. So here we go. Or not. They're trying to tell him to move, but then they're like, forget it, we gotta go. Let's see if I can make a better start this time. Alright. Revs up to about 10,000 RPM. Or not. Come on, let's go. And we're off. Alright, a little better start. Hello, Brad. Okay, yeah, again, didn't feel completely comfortable making... I surely just have taken it. I could have got a couple more spots by taking that spot under Brad, but man, that's tight. Alright, going. Guy in the way R6 is on a mission. Alright. Let's see if I get past this guy. Maybe not. Yes. Alright. Behind me for the dog leg. Roll off a little bit for the dog leg and then back on. Brake. Downshift. Turn. Here we are in the barrel turn. Alright, let's see how many people I can pick off on the back on the NASCAR turns. That's one. A little bit of gap to the next one. 165, 166, 166. Not too bad. A little bit of a draft, even though they were far away. The rump strips going. Back on the gas. Hard. Go. Take some gears. Doesn't look like it, but I am gaining on them a bit. 167, 167, 168. Brad's got squeezed out a little bit onto the dirt. Ooh, that was a narrow miss right there, having to run off. Could have easily taken someone else off. And then there's somebody coming onto the track. He must have missed that turn as well. Did not get a good drive out of there. Alright, speed through there. Not too bad on the brakes. I am actually making up space. I'm just not close enough to make any sort of move that I feel comfortable with. And I am too late on the gas there. Come on. Alright. Now I gotta get on the gas a little earlier though. On the gas. Alright, that's actually pretty decent. A little bit of wiggle. And the draft. Should be in the, why am I not behind? I need to be right behind them. Alright, at that point I think I was thinking that I was gonna slingshot right past him, but he's got a pretty powerful bike, and I let off really early there, thinking that there's just too many people trying to fight for that position. I did not want to get caught in the middle of that, potentially causing an incident. Alright. Opportunity to at least make one pass. Maybe more. Alright, sort of in the draft right now. I think I got a little bit spooked and kicked out, so I had to roll off just a second there. And that cost me dearly, as you can see. Alright, later on the brakes than the guy in the yellow bike. Catching up on this guy. This is lap 3. This is my last opportunity to make up some spots. You went through there pretty good. Me, not so much. That was okay out of that turn. Alright. Not too bad. So it looks like I'm a little better on the brakes than the guy that's in front of me right now. But man, he's got some drive out of that corner. Alright, gotta get on the gas, try to stay with them. In the draft, I'm faster than him. But as soon as I pull out of the draft, not so much. And I should stay till the last second. It looks like I made it past him. I did just a little bit at this point. But side by side, he's actually right next to me on the inside. You see, there you go. Makes a really shallow line going through there. I give it to him because I don't know why. I need to be really more aggressive. I seriously need to be more aggressive. Alright, it's my last opportunity. Can I make the pass? Can I get him? That guy is an amateur on R1. He shouldn't be riding in this race at all. Not sure what he's doing here. Not sure how they let him out here. Alright, it looks like I... Never mind. Dang it. Stay in the draft. I gotta just stick in the draft. Checker flag. I did not get by him. That is unfortunate. I finished 10th in this race. Not a bad result. However, looking at the next couple spots up, I knew I was faster than them. I was running faster than them all weekend. So, had I been more aggressive, made those passes, caught up to them, I think I would have been able to do even better than they did, which would put me, you know, around 5th or 6th place, somewhere in there. Considering, you know, like, it's just, the starts just don't really work out for me. I am too timid going to turn 1. I need to be more aggressive. I need to find better lines. I need to find a spot, a hole, and I need to just stab right in there. Now, of course, being smart and safe about it, but, you know, like, I just can't be as timid as I am and expect good results. So part of this is, you know, this is the second race of the season for me. The first race was Homestead in February, and there was a lot of figuring out the bike there. There's a lot of figuring out the bike here. A lot of different settings, a lot of different equipment, and the track is a lot different in a lot of ways. So there's a lot of figuring things out. I think I have a better idea of what I need to do for the next time around. Now you see, that's the best lap of the probably of the weekend, actually. 159.741. You know, it's okay. It's okay. You know, I was able to run that in practice last time I was out here in October. I ran a 158.3 as my best lap ever in a race. So I should be nearly capable of that next time for sure. I had to see about the tire. You know, they were saying the 190.55 that I usually run didn't do very well at Daytona under certain lap times. It was like a 202 or something like that. They started chunking. The 200 started chunking around like 157 or so, 156. So I don't know, the 200, if I'm going to try the 255 again for Daytona, I'm going to need to try a different gearing configuration, something that gives me a little bit more acceleration, a little more top end. towards the end, because I think I'm losing out a little bit while I'm out here. And another thing I might want to try is race gas. I've never ran race gas in my bike ever. I've only run pump gas, 93 pump gas. So that puts me at a disadvantage. If I have some race gas, I think I could even get a little bit more speed. I might not have to make that gearing change to compensate. So anyway, that's gonna do it for me for this video. Sorry it's so long, but you know, this is the race. Let me know what you guys thought. Anything I can improve on, anything else you'd like to see or want me to talk about while I'm commentating these races, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up, and if you're new here, please subscribe. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one.